Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies. As I adjust my mic, why don't I whatever. Time management, right? So, I don't exactly know what to talk about today, but I'm gonna show some footage of War Thunder 2.0, specifically the test flight for the premium British Harrier and the premium American Harrier. You see, I was on the horns of a dilemma. I'm not sure where that phrase comes from, the horns of a dilemma. But anyway, the Jewish sacrificial altar is sort of like a square table, if you will, a rather large size square table that's also a barbecue, because of course you're cooking a dead animal on it, and the animal is killed and prepared before being put on the barbecue. It's a little bit different of a process than some other blood sacrifices in other groups, and it has 4 horns, one at each of the 4 corners, that presumably help to keep the meat where it belongs and also offer a bit of symbolism. In fact, when begging for mercy, one might take hold of the horns of the altar, and that is a place where you cannot be killed because, well, that would definitely defile the altar. So if someone doesn't feel like being merciful, well, they'll have to pry you off of the horns of the altar to take you away for your punishment. It's a bad situation to be in, but choosing between 3 options: buy the British Harrier, which, by the way, is by far the most powerful and a complete bullshit machine at 9.3. Or buy the American Harrier, which is a pretty nice machine, fairly well balanced, not super powerful in any sense, and it really just comes down to the secondary armaments on the things. Both Harriers. Oh, the third option is not to buy anything, and I was strongly considering that because these are not the kind of vehicles that I constantly play in War Thunder, but mainly because they're high tier, very high tier. In fact, I dare say the British Harrier is actually a top tier machine because of the missiles it has access to, at least until you start facing things that can lock you from the front, because that will be an issue for you. So yeah, the SRAMs really put the British Harrier in a difficult position because the aircraft itself, it's a little bit of a rambling talk today, isn't it? That's the way things are, you know. I also want to tell you just a nice little story about how I helped out my wife with an issue that she had, did a little bit of working on her car, and I shared that moment with my oldest child, my daughter Brooklyn, who goes by Guppy or Tank Baby on the channel if you go way back. But the Harrier is a really fun aircraft. It's so fun. I love the way it handles. It is probably the best looking aircraft from the rear in this game so far for me, and it just has to go with that like swimmer's stance that it has, with its swept back and also swept down wings, its broad thick shoulders, and look at that. Not bad from the front either. It gets a little bit chonky and weird looking when you see those gun pods, and you're like, what in the name of truck nuts is going on there? But also, here's a little bit of a bug. The return to battle respawn actually respawned us outside, or teleported us outside of the battle area, so we're stuck in a return to the battlefield loop. Ladies and gentlemen, War Thunder 2.0, but also the graphics. The graphics is just so good on this game. War Thunder is absolutely gorgeous right now, and it makes the game all the more fun to play. It really does. I've got some adapting to do. There's a lot of change in how the game looks and sounds, and that means a lot in figuring out how to play the dang thing. But let's get back to talking about the Harrier, I suppose. Again, free-form conversation. I like talking with you guys and connecting with you. I like making these sort of ramble videos every now and then. And that's definitely what do you mean every now and then? It's always a ramble video. Anyway, the VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing aspect of the Harrier is completely not meta for War Thunder. It sort of goes along with the idea that helicopters are able to land and capture a cap zone. It's just not gonna happen in a match. At the tier that you're playing, 9-3, 10-3 matches, you're not gonna be able to have the freedom to awkwardly position yourself over a cap zone for that long. The real meta aspect of this vehicle comes in its flight performance, fantastic acceleration, and the missiles that it can carry. So, let's have a look at the American Harrier. The reason, by the way, that the British Harrier is just very, very difficult to balance is because, again, it's one of those few aircraft in the game that have SRAMs times 4, and SRAMs they slaughter everything within 2 kilometers of you. They cannot lock from all angles, so they have to sniff the tailpipe of the enemy aircraft, but they have an incredibly wide area of search, so basically you have to be on the back half of an enemy aircraft's flight path to be able to just delete them. They're almost impossible to avoid. They're almost always a one-shot kill. The Harrier carries 4 of them, and the Harrier might be the best turn-fighting jet in the game because it has a ludicrous amount of acceleration, the kind that it would take to enable an aircraft to aim nozzles at the ground and just lift off. That's a lot of push, my friends. And look at that. You adjust the nozzles and look at how tight of a turning circle we can make. Now, why does that matter? SRAMs, baby! It's very, very possible to get behind someone or to transition much faster in a rear aspect from a head-on. So if you can avoid a head-on with the Harrier, you can easily turn on someone and get a snifter at the booty. With an SRAM, again, they accelerate so quickly, they're so deadly that you can just kill anyone that doesn't manage to take you down in a head-on. Because the Harrier is actually pretty fast for its BR range. Yeah, sure, maybe you can't catch somebody, but again, eventually they have to face you, and if they get within 2 kilometers, they're dead. So it makes the British Harrier extremely difficult to fight. Not impossible, but we're looking at entire teams made up of British Harriers right now. The premium ones, that is. And that means that every one of them is a gunslinger, look at the VTOL aspect of this. This is all manual control, so I mean mouse flight, of course, but this is not using any sort of hover function, which is, I suppose, going to be available for the Harriers. I'm not sure if it's implemented yet, or if it's just that I haven't set up the controls for it, but after a little bit of practice, I didn't really have any issues in finding ways to use these nozzles. If you put them down at about 30 or 40% angle, excuse me, a little bit of pizza belch there. I ordered pizza tonight. It was a huge hit. We had a good day today. This morning, Chunky, who, by the way, is Zoe, my youngest daughter, my middle child, and she's the heart of my kids. She's such a reactor. She responds to things, and her emotions are so strong, and she's a nurturer. She loves to love people, and she didn't see very much of Mommy yesterday. And so this morning, she walks out of her bedroom. She's the only one that sleeps in her own room. Brooklyn and baby Joshy and I sleep in the living room, just because I got in the habit of sleeping out here with Joshy so that Mommy can get as much rest as possible in Mommy's bedroom. That was called the master bedroom, but yeah, I sleep out here now with the baby. And then Guppy got sick, and I was sick, and I think Joshy was sick too. We were all sick. Not bad, but just, snarfles and a little bit difficult breathing at night, and she got scared because she hasn't really been stuffed up before. Isn't that weird to think about, like, the first time your nose gets so runny that it's hard to breathe? And so she was just kind of scared, and I was looking after her, so I let her sleep out in the living room across the room from me. She has her own couch all to herself, and right now it's populated by a bunch of cast-off stuffed animals, pillows, blankets, and costumes, because the girl just has stashes and stashes of stuff. She's kind of loved. And so she started sleeping on the couch, and now she refuses to sleep in her bedroom. So little sis gets an entire room to herself. So Zoe, to get back to my other rabbit hole, Zoe walks out of their bedroom this morning, and she goes, "Where's Mama?" And she doesn't speak really clearly. She's got like a squishy, soft palate, so she's like, "Where Mama?" And I'm like, "Mommy's at work," and she's like, "I want Mama." And she started like pointing, so she has this little commanding finger, and she points when she's issuing a command, and she's like, "I want Mama, I want Mama," and she's like pointing, like toward Mommy's bedroom, where she's supposed to walk out of that door, because Zoe missed her. So Zoe was super tired tonight. Shortly after Mommy got home, the story I was going to tell you is that excuse me, a little bit sleepy. By the way, we're just testing out the Zuni rockets and the AIM-9 whatevers. You can tell I really care about this top tier stuff. But the AIM-9, what are they? AIM-9G, AIM-9E, AIM-9Z. That's AIM-9Zs. AIM-9H1Z1s on the Harrier. They're good. They're sort of a long-range heat-seeking missile, so you can surprise people. They don't even know that you have them locked, and you pop up from underneath and take them down that way. I found that to be a fairly reliable way of taking people out. But the story. I'm all over the place tonight. My girl is ADHD, I think. Brooklyn, but I don't consider it a disorder. It's just that her attention is built to wander, and it will. The story. So my wife found out that she had a flat tire, was it yesterday? And I didn't, I sort of took some time to think about how to deal with it, because it's rough to deal with that when, I've got 3 kids. It's just not a good time to have a babysitter come over right now for obvious reasons. And at the same time, she's super busy. So I decided that what we would do is I would take the wheel off, and she could take the wheel with her when she goes into town to go to work, and she could, like, I don't know, drop it off at the tire place on her lunch break or something. So it's asking sort of a lot, but I got to be helper and to take the wheel off for her. So I go out there, and eventually I found all my tools, because I have pretty good tools, but I just don't have, like, the time to use them, so I haven't been using my tools, and they tend to get, like, scattered everywhere. So I found the tools I needed after she helped me a little bit, because I mean, hidden tools do not reveal themselves to me. They come out to meet my wife because she's precious. Anyway, so I found the tools, I set to work, and Brooklyn said, I want to go with you. And I'm like, you know what? You can come help me. And we got to do the thing where she was watching, and I showed her all the things that I was doing. And I kept my word, because I tell her, Brooklyn, you're my shadow. I'm going to show you everything that I do. And today I showed her how to take the wheel off of a car. And that was fun. I showed her everything. I showed her how to break the bolts. She wasn't quite strong enough, and I didn't expect her to be to break a bolt, even with my super awesome, I have like this long extendo handle, big heavy duty socket wrench, so I don't have to deal with, the cheap little murder tool that they give you in your emergency kit. I got to use a real socket wrench, and man, that thing cost like $60, but it has been so worth it anyway. And a good set of big size sockets is super cheap. Anyway, we did the thing, and that just makes me really happy. And she's the kind of girl that if she has a problem, like, oh no, I have a flat tire, she's gonna take care of that herself. If something needs doing, she's gonna do it, or she's gonna at least start doing it until something else needs to be done. But then she'll find someone to finish the job. She'll tell them what to do. She'll tell them exactly what to do. And she gets things done. So it's just like, I'm thinking, when she has a flat tire, she's going to be like, I know how to do this. And she's just going to make it happen. Anyway, I'm a proud dad. I did end up buying the American Harrier, by the way. As I mentioned, the British Harrier is taking over matches right now. It's actually disgusting. It's bad. It's not a good thing. I haven't seen stomps like this since the first days of the IS-6. It's easily one of the most overpowering vehicles in the game. I'm not going to say it's overpowered, because I think that if the enemy team had 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 British Harriers with the SRAMs in them, it's something that the sort of energy fighter jets on the enemy team could deal with. The problem is, you're looking at an entire team made up of a difficult to counter aircraft. So it's overpowering matches right now, and the British Harrier spam is just destroying everything that faces off against it, and that is everyone else. So I didn't really want to take part in that. And I did decide that, by the way, that's an animation glitch that did not show up in other test flights or in live server gameplay. I just noticed the fans weren't spinning there, or maybe they were perfectly synchronized with my frame rate. I don't know. But, yeah, I think it's an animation glitch in this particular flyout, I didn't see it again. And I guess that's the end of the video. Yeah. It's a brave new world in War Thunder, and I'm continuing to push on into higher and higher BRs, and I'm completely unashamed about how amateur my videos have become. I looked back at my old Tank Cop videos, and there was a lot that I didn't know about how to make videos, and I was also not using any audio editing tools or the very capable Sony Vegas that I'm using now. And I look back at a younger me that had just one kid, and I go, wow, I could make some really, really cool videos. But instead I make these videos because these are very low effort, and I know that I'm spending that effort in places that I'm really happy with. Anyway, I hope you guys are blessed. I hope your week is full of joy, and as always, I love connecting with you guys. You guys are my social life, and you know what? That's even more important now than it was last year. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Alright, the Discord link in the description. That's what I was working my way up to. Okay, bye!